Gilgamesh Chapter 3. This is on page 33 of your textbook. Gilgamesh and Enkidu prepare to travel to the cedar forest and to meet the evil giant Humbaba. One day, Enkidu's eyes filled with tears, for his heart was sad. Gilgamesh, hearing his friend sigh bitterly, said to him, "Enkidu, my friend, why do your eyes fill with tears, and why do you sigh with such bitterness?" Enkidu replied, "I am crying for my lost strength. When I lived among the animals upon the grassy plain, I was swift and strong. Here in the strong-walled city of Uruk, my arms hang useless by my sides. Inactivity has turned me into a weakling." "I know how to heal the grief in your heart," Gilgamesh replied. "The fierce giant Humbaba lives at the base of the cedar mountain, home of the heavenly gods in the cedar forest of Lebanon in the land of the living. Come with me to slay him, and then we will have banished all evil from the land." "You cannot mean what you are saying," Enkidu replied. "You can speak with great courage because you have never seen Humbaba. Although I have never seen him either, I learned from the wild creatures about the cedar forest and the evil giant who guards it. The forest extends over an area of 30,000 square miles, Enkidu explained. Its span is so large that a person can enter it and never find his way out again. And as for Humbaba, the very thought of fighting that monstrous giant fills my heart with horror. Enlil, ruler of the heavenly gods, has appointed him watchman. He preserves the cedar forest by terrifying anyone who dares to enter it. His face is as fearsome as a lion's. His dreadful roar resounds throughout the forest like a river that is swollen with flood. His teeth are those of a dragon, and flames issue forth from his mouth. With each breath he consumes every reed and tree in his path. Nothing that burns can escape being devoured by that monster. Why would you choose to pit yourself against a being who is more powerful than you are?" "I know that it is my fate to die, sooner or later," Gilgamesh explained. "Before my life comes to an end, I would like to make a name for myself, so I intend to climb the cedar mountain. When those in time to come remember the great names of the past, I would like my name to be among them. I will bring the names of the heavenly gods with us, so that they too will be remembered." "We cannot enter the cedar forest," Enkidu repeated. "Humbaba watches over the forest without ever resting. He can hear the wild cows when they are 200 miles away." Gilgamesh responded, "My friend, who can reach heaven? Only the gods live forever with radiant Shamash. The days of human beings are numbered, and whatever they achieve is like the wind. Why do you fear death when, like all human beings, it is your fate to die? What has become of your heroic strength? Is it not better to do your best to gain fame than to wait patiently and quietly for the day of your death? Fame and glory will give life to your name even after your death. If you are still afraid to fight Humbaba," Gilgamesh continued, "then let me walk ahead of you while you encourage me to be brave. Even if I fail, I will have made a lasting name for myself. People will say of me, 'Gilgamesh died fighting the fierce giant Humbaba.'" "I will not walk behind you, my friend," Enkidu replied. "While you are traveling toward the land of the living, I will remain in the strong-walled city of Uruk. I will inform your mother of your great glory. Let the wise goddess Ninsun proclaim your fame to all the people. I will inform your mother of your impending death. Let the wise goddess Ninsun weep bitter tears as she grieves for her lost son. As for me, I do not choose to die," Enkidu continued. "I do not wish to be destroyed by fire. I am not ready to have my shroud cut. I am not ready to make that journey upon the Euphrates River." Gilgamesh said, "Your fear fills my heart with sadness. With my own hands I will kill Humbaba, cut down the cedars, and bring their fragrant wood to strong-walled Uruk. In this way I will make a lasting name for myself. I will order the blacksmith to forge new weapons for us, axes to chop and blades to shape the wood, and mighty swords to use against Humbaba. I wish to see this giant whose name fills our land with terror. I will overcome him in the cedar forest. Then all peoples will know how strong the king of Uruk is." Enkidu replied, "Oh, Gilgamesh, if your heart is set upon such an adventure and you are determined to enter the land of the living, then I will reluctantly accompany you. However, you must tell Radiant Shamash. He is in charge of the cedar forest, and surely you will need his help." So Gilgamesh chose 2 young goats, one white and one brown, and offered them to Shamash with a prayer. "Oh, heavenly Shamash, I wish to enter the cedar forest of Lebanon in the land of the living, and I wish that you would help me." "I know that your strength is great, Gilgamesh," radiant Shamash replied. "You are indeed a great warrior, but why are you attempting such an adventure? Why does the land of the living interest you?" Gilgamesh tearfully answered, "Oh, radiant Shamash, please listen to my words. We human beings are not as blessed as the heavenly gods, for we cannot live forever. Every day in my city of Uruk, people die. When I look over the strong walls of my city, I see the Euphrates River bearing their dead bodies. Sooner or later, even I, though a king, will have to face that fate. Even I will have to make that last journey. Death makes the human heart heavy with grief. No matter how tall he is, a mortal cannot reach heaven. No matter how wide he is, a mortal cannot stretch over the earth. Yet before my life comes to an end," Gilgamesh concluded, "I would like to make a name for myself. I would like to enter the land of the living and climb the cedar mountain. When future generations remember the great names of the past, I would like my name to be among them. I will bring the names of the heavenly gods with me, so that your names too will be remembered." Shamash heard Gilgamesh's words and accepted his tears as a sacred offering. The radiant god felt pity for Gilgamesh's human fate and was merciful to him. "I will be your ally against Humbaba," he told Gilgamesh. "I will confine in mountain caves the snake that poisons with its tongue, the dragon that scorches with its fire, the raging flood that destroys the land, and the quick flashes of lightning that cannot be conquered. They will not be able to cause trouble for you during the course of your adventure." When Gilgamesh heard the words of Shamash, his heart filled with joy. He called the elders of Uruk to assembly and informed them of his plan. They were not convinced by his enthusiasm. "Your youthful spirit fills your heart, Gilgamesh," they said to their king, "but it has blinded your eyes to what you are doing. Listen to our advice. We hear that the cedar forest extends over an area of 30,000 square miles. Who among human beings is brave enough to enter it? We hear that Humbaba is a creature to be feared. Who among human beings can face his weapons? The monster roars like a river swollen with flood, and his fiery breath brings death. Why do you want to face such an enemy?" they asked. "You could not choose a more unequal contest. However, if we cannot convince you to change your mind, then go with our blessing. May your god, Shamash, protect you and bring you safely back to strong-walled Uruk." Gilgamesh knelt before radiant Shamash. Raising his hands in prayer, he said, "Heavenly Shamash, I am on my way. Guard my soul. Protect me and bring me safely back to Uruk. I am taking a road I have never traveled. I want to walk with joy in my heart." Gilgamesh then set about recruiting some of his countrymen. "He who is responsible for a household, stay home," he commanded. "He who is responsible for his mother, remain with her. However, if you are a single man and you would like to join me on this greatest of heroic adventures, I invite 50 of you to come along with me into the land of the living, where Humbaba guards the cedar forest. There we will slay the monster and banish all evil from the land." The men of Uruk obeyed Gilgamesh. Those who were supporters of their families stayed behind, while 50 youths prepared to accompany Gilgamesh upon the great adventure. Gilgamesh ordered the metalsmiths to cast the enormous bronze axe that he would call his might of heroism, along with axes and swords for all his companions. Then he ordered servants to cut wood from the apple, the box, and the willow trees to be fashioned into other weapons and tools. When all of the adventurers had been properly equipped, Gilgamesh's servants brought their king his weapons. They gave him his bow, a quiver full of arrows, and an assortment of cutting and shaping tools, and they placed his axe, the might of heroism, and his sword upon his belt. When the group was ready to leave, the people cried, "May you return safely to our city." Then the elders gave Gilgamesh their final advice. "Do not put too much faith in your own strength, Gilgamesh. Allow Enkidu to travel the road in front of you, for he knows the way to the cedar forest, and he is experienced in battle. Let Enkidu precede you through the forest and over the mountain passes. Let his eyes see clearly that he may protect himself and you, for the person who treads first protects the friends and companions who follow behind him. At night," they advised, before you rest, you must dig a well so that the water in your water skin will always be fresh. Remember to offer cool water to radiant Shamash, and never forget to honor your father, Lugalbanda. Then, after you kill Humbaba, you must remember to wash your feet as the gods require. May your God go with you, Gilgamesh, the elders concluded. May Shamash heed your prayers. May he open before your feet the obstructed path, the closed road, and the formidable mountain. May the night bring you nothing to fear. May your father stay with you and protect you. May you live to attain your wish. Then the assembled elders addressed Enkidu, saying, We, the assembly, entrust our king to you. Protect your friend and companion, and return him to us safely. Once they had received the blessing of the assembly of elder nobles, Gilgamesh said to Enkidu, Let us go before my mother, priestess of Shamash. The great Queen Ninsun, who possesses broad knowledge and great wisdom, will surely send us forth with her blessing. Hand in hand, the two friends entered Ninsun's chamber. Gilgamesh said, Mother, I have determined to make a great journey that will take me upon a strange road to the cedar forest and the home of Humbaba. There I face a battle whose outcome is uncertain, for I will attempt to kill Humbaba in order to remove all evil from the land. Each day that passes, from the day of my departure until the day of my return, pray to Shamash on my behalf, for he too hates evil. Ninsun put on her ceremonial robe, placed an ornament upon her breast, and crowned her head with a diadem. She climbed the stairs to the top of the temple palace, where she stood upon the roof and offered incense to radiant Shamash. Raising her arms to the god of the sun, Ninsun cried, Why have you given me a son like Gilgamesh? Why have you given him such a restless heart? Why would you have him make such a journey upon a strange road? Why must he face Humbaba in the cedar forest? She prayed, O Shamash, I ask you to protect my son each day that passes from his departure until his return. And when at the end of each day you go to your rest, commend my son to the watchers of the night. Protect him in the cedar forest as he slays the fierce Humbaba, for he will remove all evil from the land, and you also hate evil. Ninsun then smothered the incense and called to Enkidu, You are not my own child as Gilgamesh is, mighty Enkidu, but I am now formally adopting you. Go with my blessing and return safely to Uruk. That concludes Chapter 3 of Gilgamesh.